supervised by the court in Matagorda County. You understand, Ms. Bernard?
Yeah, so I have to bring my son back to the institute, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Why are you crying?
Fortunately, it's in the summertime. School's out. I know you're
but you can't keep explaining to a 5-year-old that you have to go get tested. You got to pull him out of school, and he's asking, "Mommy, I'm not sick. Why am I going to the doctor?"
Welcome back to Get It Out. Today, we have a video for Modern Dating here. Without further ado, let's get to it.
Trying to resolve this. I cannot resolve it on evidence that is not reliable. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes.
So I'm ready to rule. I'm ordering the parties to both come and submit at that point in time in court to an in-person date to submit to DNA testing here in Matagorda County.
Mm-hmm.
This is so unnecessary. Yeah, so I have to bring my son back to the institute, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Fortunately,
it's in the summertime. School's out. I know you're
but you can't keep explaining to a 5-year-old that you have to go get tested. You got to pull him out of school, and he's asking, "Mommy, I'm not sick. Why am I going to the doctor?" In front of everybody. That's embarrassing.
Okay,
ma'am. For a situation that's unnecessary.
Okay,
it's some school probably, but
everything was going smoothly until the judge mentioned the need for a second DNA test. That's when she completely lost it. She didn't think it should be necessary at all. It's clear she expected the judge to name him as the father based solely on her word, but that's not how it works. And the moment she realized that, her whole demeanor changed.
We are concerned about the validity of the test and requesting that the test occur under court supervision.
Okay. All right. Would you like to call either party as a witness?
Wow.
Yes, please, if I could call Miss Bernard.
Yes.
Miss Bernard, can you please state your full name for the record?
Sierra Nicole Bernard.
Now, for purposes of eliminating any future issues of paternity, I went ahead and ordered that Mr. Thigpen be allowed to take the DNA test. Okay? So we went ahead and gave it another bite at the apple and said, all right, we're going to make sure about whether or not you are the father or not. Okay, I understand.
Initially, she was open to another DNA test because she claimed that he had sent someone else to conduct the first one, and that's why it came back negative. But you won't believe how she will change her mind later during this hearing. It will be clear that for some reason, she doesn't want to do it. It's like she is hiding something, but the judge won't let it go. You can't make that type of claim and then make it difficult when the option for the second test is on the table.
So at the time, I believe questions were asked of you as to whether or not there was any possibility, and I'm going to ask you again, at the time you got pregnant, were you with any other man during that time, a month after that time, or a month prior to that time?
No, sir.
Not, you know what I mean, sexual. And these are kind of embarrassing questions, so I'm just asking you.
Pookie, you got to pay.
In your opinion, is there any possibility that anyone else could be the biological father of this child?
No, sir.
Okay.
But the judge said it's today, Pookie got to pay.
So you're absolutely certain it could only be Xavier Thigpen?
Yes, sir.
Pay attention to her assertiveness. She sounds confident, like she knows exactly what she's talking about. But soon, it'll become clear that she's hiding something. The same woman who claims to be certain about who the father of her child is will later turn around and question why a DNA test is even necessary. It seems like she wants the judge to just take her word for it.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I understand. Okay. And so you were frustrated last time, but agreed to, okay, let's get the DNA test, because I explained to you that if this was a stall tactic, then it doesn't matter because we can go way back on this child support issue. You understand that, right?
Sir.
Okay. So it was kind of like no harm, no foul. Let's get it cleared up, right?
Wow.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You're
Well, were you
liable.
surprised when this current DNA test result came back and said he was not the father?
Well, I didn't know that it didn't say that until after she showed me the picture. Because
You know
she
he's not the
said
father.
the reason that she showed me the picture was
You heard him.
because
The
it
judge
didn't come back
knows.
positive. And I said that that's not him. And so, like I said,
Oh,
I was very
man.
surprised that he would do that.
That he
I mean,
was
I'm not
black.
surprised, but I'm surprised given his status and things of that nature.
Okay. So what and I want to make sure I have your testimony correct. You're stating that when you saw the picture, you're talking about the picture of the person that showed up and took the
Person.
DNA test.
Yes.
That picture was taken by the people that were doing the testing, and that picture was supposed to be a picture of Xavier Thigpen, correct?
That picture was shown right now, and it was put to his face. When he shows his face in his camera, everyone on this court will be able to see that that is not him.
Okay. Okay. So you're stating that, do you know who the picture is in the
It's his
person
brother.
is?
It's his older brother.
Okay. All right. So you're questioning the validity of the test.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions. So what you're asking is for a test that you can confirm that Mr. Thigpen does actually submit to. That you're asking for what you believe you need a valid test. Period.
Yes.
So you understand we're just trying to get to the right, correct result. You understand that, Mr. Thigpen?
Yes, sir. Correct.
All
I
right.
understand. That's why I said,
Okay.
like, I know the court had power to subpoena the video footage from the time I went in there. I went in there at 10 o'clock. I was a little late, probably like 10:17. Like, I went in there with just my ID, mask, just like the instructions said. So, like, as far as trying to throw my name up because I worked hard for who I am and what I've gotten in life, that's crazy.
She claimed that he sent his brother to take the test on his behalf, which is why the results came back negative. But he has a completely different story. He also pointed out that as someone who's worked hard to build a stable life for himself, it wouldn't make any sense to risk it all just to avoid paying child support. And honestly, that's a fair point.
Okay, you've heard my questions for Mr. Thigpen, right?
Yes.
And you've heard Mr. Thigpen swear under oath that he did appear and he did take the picture and he did submit to the test. You heard him say that, right?
Yes.
And you've heard Mr. Thigpen acknowledge that that is not him in the photo, and that somehow the test result is flawed because they attached the wrong photo to the test result, right?
Yes.
So I'm ready to rule. Here we go. This is my ruling. I do find I have jurisdiction in this case. And I have admitted State's Exhibit 1, which is showing a negative test result, but the picture of someone other than Mr. Thigpen as the person that took the test. So therefore, if I'm going to rely on that DNA test, it has to be reliable. And it's not, because there's questions still about whether or not a proper DNA test was done, or whether or not there was some type of a mix-up by the DNA test people, or whether or not some type of fraud was being committed. Okay? I don't know. So I know how I'm going to fix that. I'm going to order this case. I'm going to have this case reset for a date in person in Matagorda County. And at that reset date, I'm ordering the parties to both come and submit at that point in time in court to an in-person date to submit to DNA testing here in Matagorda County, where the court can supervise the paternity testing. So I'm ordering both parties to come to court on a specific date, submit to paternity testing here in Matagorda County. And that way, we're going to eliminate any funny business, any confusion. The court's going to supervise this testing and make sure that the testing is done here, where that way we see Mr. Thigpen shows up, Mr. Thigpen gets tested, And there's not going to be any mix-up because he's going to be the person that's going to be taking get the picture taken of, and it'll be his DNA that'll be taken, as well as yours again, Miss Bernard. We're going to have a brand new test done here.
Any woman who truly knows the identity of her child's father would actually welcome this decision. The judge ordering a new DNA test to clear everything up is a great idea.
Sure is.
And that's exactly what's going to make this case interesting. She won't like it. Even though she previously showed a lot of confidence when pointing him out as the father, she's about to completely lose it over the judge's decision. Suddenly, she's going to come up with all sorts of excuses for why the test shouldn't be done again. And that says a lot. Now, let's see what she has to say about it.
Supervised by the court in Matagorda County. You understand, Ms. Bernard?
Yeah, so I have to bring my son back to the institute, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Why are you crying?
Fortunately, it's in the
Guilty.
summertime. School's
Guilty.
out. I know
Yeah,
you're
but you can't keep explaining to a 5-year-old that you have to go get tested. You got
Why
to
you
pull him out of
crying?
school, and he's asking, "Mommy, I'm not sick. Why am I
Wow,
going to the
she's
doctor in front of
about to lose that
everybody? That's
money.
embarrassing.
Okay,
For a
ma'am.
situation that's unnecessary."
Okay, ma'am.
Imagine causing all this drama just because you are worried about how a 5-year-old will react to being taken out of school. I'm not sure who she thought she was fooling, but anyone with common sense can see there's something off about her response.
Wow.
I mean, let's be real. There's no need for a long discussion or any major convincing when it comes to pulling a 5-year-old from class for something like this. He's too young to fully grasp what's happening, so her argument doesn't hold up at all. At this point, it's pretty clear she doesn't want the test to be done again, because this time, it'll be supervised by the court. There won't be room for any errors, and maybe that's exactly what she's afraid of. That's the only explanation that makes sense for how she's reacting.
Okay, ma'am. First of all, the court date is July the 8th.
I understand that, but I'm saying initially I had to do that. Now I'm having to take him again somewhere to get tested, and he's not in his mind. He knows, "Mommy, I'm not sick. What's going on with me?"
Okay.
You can't
Oh,
explain to
God.
a child, you have to go get tested for DNA.
And
He's
how old is your
5 years
son?
old. He just turned 5.
He's
And you
5.
think Dad called him? No, he didn't.
Okay, ma'am, please don't interrupt me.
She's guilty.
Let me address your
Guilty.
frustration. Your son's 5.
Yes.
Okay. At 5 years old, you can pretty much just say, "Hey, we're just doing something." He's not going to the doctor. Okay. They're just going to do the DNA swab testing here. Okay. Or whatever
Done, you're
testing they
done.
do. It'll be quick. It'll be done. It'll be finished.
Guilty.
Was she crying because she was upset about her son's day being disrupted by a DNA
No.
test? Did she honestly expect everyone to believe she's just worried about his reaction? That's probably the last thing on her mind. What she's really concerned about is the result of that test, and she's clearly trying to avoid it. I think she expected the judge to just take her word for it and declare him the father based solely on what she said.
Wow.
That would explain the confidence she showed when she insisted he was the one, as she wasn't with anyone else at that time. But the judge is going to need more than just her word to make that kind of ruling.
Okay, ma'am, do you understand? I'm
Yeah.
trying to resolve this. I cannot resolve it on evidence that is not reliable. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. If he comes back positive, that issue of paternity goes away. He's dad, end of story. We move on, we finish. I am going to finish this case. Do we understand, Ms. Bernard?
Yes.
Okay. And if the right thing turns out to be that Mr. Thigpen is not the father, then
Which is
Mr.
that?
Thigpen, the right result is that Mr. Thigpen is not the father. If that's what the test shows, a reliable test. Do you understand, Ms. Bernard?
Yes.
Okay. And I know those words are hard for you to hear when you have testified and said, there is no way
Look at he knows. He
that
knows.
anyone else can be the father but Xavier Thigpen. I get how hard that is. for
He
you.
knows. Like,
But ma'am, that is simply your word against his.
He knows.
And so I need, with the test results, I eliminate
He
that
said,
problem.
"Man, she
I
doing me dirty."
forever eliminate that problem.
But seriously, what exactly did she expect the judge to base his ruling on? He said it perfectly. Right now, he doesn't have enough evidence to make a decision. That's why a second DNA test is the only way to clear up any remaining doubts. As the judge pointed out, all he has at this point are her words, and that alone isn't enough to prove he's the father. Without solid evidence, there's really not much the judge can do. That's why ordering another test is the most reasonable and appropriate step to take.
But I will tell you, had that test result come back from Mississippi and the result said negative and his picture was there and it appeared that he went and showed up, then we got a whole different problem of you saying that's not valid, can't be valid. That doesn't mean we couldn't have had another test. But with the picture not even matching up, it made it easy for me to order a test, but a test here in Matagorda County. I don't want any funny business going on. I don't want any confusion going on. I want it clear and I want it done. And I want it done right. You understand, Ms. Bernard? So do you understand my ruling?
Yes.
She wanted the judge to say he sent someone else, so he would declare him legally the father without further testing. I don't think he is the father. She is beside herself that he gets another test. He's not the father.
Sure ain't.
If she's not lying, she would want the test. I have a feeling he is not the father. She doesn't want another DNA. I wonder why or what she is hiding. The mother should welcome another DNA test. Why is she so upset?
Y'all are now ordered to come back on July the 8th. Y'all are ordered to appear in court that day. We're proceeding with or without y'all on that day. And that is my ruling. And I do believe my ruling is in the best interest of the child. And I do have jurisdiction of this case. So is there anything else, Ms. Lee?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
The truth is, she's always understood his ruling. And deep down, she knows it's the only real way to clear everything up. And that's exactly where the problem lies. It seems like she doesn't want the truth to come out, which explains why she kept trying to convince the judge to change his mind, even breaking down in tears over it. Yet, she still wants everyone to believe she's certain he's the father of her child. But let's be honest. Either she genuinely doesn't know who the father is, or she knows for a fact that it's not him. And now she's afraid the second test will finally expose the truth.
Are you oppressed? And if so, how?
Yeah. I'm being told at age 16, 17 that you're going to be making hundreds and hundreds of dollars if you sell them content of you naked. Is that not like...
Is that oppression or opportunity?
You think that's an opportunity?
Or a privilege?
Hold on. Respectfully, I think that you have a serious victim complex. You said that
Sure
you were put in this position, but you're also telling me that someone came to you and told you, hey, you can make a lot of money.
Not one person.
Multiple people told you, hey, you can make a lot of money if you do this work. And then did you make the decision to start doing the work, or were you forced into it?
You said don't trauma dump, and you said don't make a personal attack, and I feel like you
you're telling me that you were put in this position, and I'm asking, were you forced by someone into this position, or was it a choice that you made?
Yeah, respectfully, I'm not going to answer that question. That's like not.
Could you make the choice to leave the industry?
Yeah.
But you don't want to?
No, because I feel fine now.
What?
So you're making the decision to stay in this position?
Yeah, because I feel great now about myself.
I think that's enough internet for today. This is getting a bit too much. At this point, there are really only two possibilities. Either she's trying to avoid responsibility for the choices she made, or she genuinely has no idea what she's talking.
That right there was the biggest airhead answer of all time. The woman with the child, guilty. She should just say, judge, might as well not come back to court. He's not the father. Just fess up. Say, take him off child support. The father's in jail, right? Pookie got to pay, but you can't get him to pay because he's locked up. Say that. It's the truth. It hurts. You won't get any money anymore, but that's what has to be done.
About. None of it adds up. She was clearly told about that opportunity to make money, and she chose to take it. But now she's trying to act like there was some sort of pressure.
It's kind of unfair to blame women these days for having a higher body count because we were kind of told that, oh, it's great, it's okay. Also, find it to be kind of juvenile. I mean, if a guy asked me my body count, I would be like, how old are you? Like, it should not matter. It's not.
Well, if he wanted a serious relationship with you and wanted a marriage with you, I mean, it's statistically, the marriage success rate goes down the toilet, and 50% of marriages in the United States end in divorce, and 80% of those are initiated by women, which is directly correlated to if you have slept with more people and you have more bodies on your record, you're more likely to get a divorce. So I don't think it's unfair for a man to ask, hey, how many men have you been with in the past? Because that's going to impact him in his future too.
This has to be one of the funniest things I've heard in a long time. I believe that everyone should live their lives however they want, but at the same time, we all have the right to choose who we share our energy with. The best part of the clip was when she said this. That line really got me. It's like she's blaming other people for her choices, and that's what makes it so interesting. You can't jump into something willingly and then turn around and point fingers at the ones who suggested it. Last I checked, every capable adult is responsible for their own decisions.
More and more of ladies getting involved in something and can't handle the ridiculous decisions they've made. OnlyFans model, you thought it was going to be the pie in the sky. You probably still make 6 figures. That's why you won't get out. But yeah, guys, thank y'all for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Other than that, peace out. See you next video.
You give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind.